Okay, so it's the second video of compare mitosis and meiosis. Today is April the 3rd. This is pretty much going to be very similar to what we just did, but meiosis and mitosis. And mitosis is on this side, meiosis on that one for those of you who can read. So mitosis, it is going to produce body cells. That is the function of mitosis, is to produce body cells. Right? That is the main goal of mitosis. Well, meiosis is going to produce gametes. Oh, 3:30, time to go home. Oh, psych, not really. So mitosis is going to produce body cells. Meiosis produces gametes, so the egg and sperm.
Kimberly Tilly, please come to the front office. Kimberly Tilly.
Ugh, so annoying. Okay, so produce body cells, produce gametes. And of course, kind of cover that up for a little bit. The second thing that we're going to be comparing them, so this says describe 4 differences. I'm not really going to describe too much. Mitosis, 1 cell division, while meiosis goes through 2 cell divisions, right? And hopefully by now you've figured that out. Mitosis is only going to go through 1. It's going to produce 2 diploid cells. After the first meiosis one, it's exactly like mitosis. It's going to have 2 diploid cells. And then by the end of it, after the end of the second cell division, it's going to have 4 haploid cells. Super cool. Okay. Next thing, I just reiterated this, but it forms 2 diploid cells. Remember, diploid means 46. Okay, that's all 46 chromosomes. While the trace, number 3, while meiosis is going to form 4 haploid cells. Haploid in this case means 23. All right, so it forms 2 diploid cells, forms 4, this should be forms, 4 haploid cells. Right, those haploid cells all become the egg and sperm. Next part. The mitosis, they all have the same number of chromosomes as parent cell. Okay, same number of chromosomes, in this case 46, as the parent cell. They're pretty much just identical clones. While the number of chromosomes here, they have half. 50% of the number, looks like one of the number of chromosomes as parent cell. All right, so that is, in a nutshell, the 2 differences between them. Mitosis and meiosis. Now, meiosis is still going to go through PMAT. Only in this case, it's going to go through it twice. So it's going to go through interphase and cytokinesis and everything else. Same thing, only at the end, meiosis produces 4, mitosis produces 2. Okay, so I'm going to cover that up. It says identify the cells and stages of mitosis by circling or filling in each blank. So looking at this, if it's plant or animal, based on just looking at the box-like structure, that one should have been really easy. This is simply a plant cell. Okay? You don't need to see the colors to know that it's plant or animal. And the phase of mitosis, well, you can assume that each of these little like strand things is similar to the, what are those things called? Pipe cleaners that you did in the demonstration. So the cells are still very much together, and now the chromosomes, or excuse me, chromatids are being pulled apart. So this phase is going to be anaphase. Anaphase. All right? So that is simply anaphase because they're being pulled in opposite directions, all right? If they were lined up in the middle, that'd be metaphase. If they were still kind of all just X-shaped, hanging out around, that would be prophase. So looking at this one over here, again, this one should have been pretty easy. If you just see the little circles, gee, what should that be? Animal, okay? Anytime you see the rigid box structures, because remember, the main difference between plant and animal cells is that, 1, the plant cell has a cell wall, which gives it that rigid structure. Animal cells don't have it. The other big difference is that plant cells have chloroplasts, where they take glucose and make that into, or they take sunlight and make glucose with it. All right, and then the phase of mitosis. Well, these are almost separated. So it's still a phase of mitosis, so we know it's not cytokinesis. It gives us the options of prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. Since they are pretty much, they look like they're just about ready to disconnect, this is going to be telophase. Okay. That one is telophase. Okay. That should be pretty self-explanatory. So looking down here at the bottom, we have this little chart that says identify the stages of the cell cycle, or the life cycle of cell, by filling in each blank using the word bank. Growth and DNA replication. Because it's a cycle, there really is no official start point, except we started at interphase, but since it's continually going through this, each cell will start off at growth and DNA replication. Now this chart doesn't show this. It has interphase as a separate section, but in reality, interphase is going to include growth, DNA replication, as well as interphase itself. So the cell does have to double in size. That way when it breaks in half, or it forms the two new cells, it's not half of one cell, you have half of a very large cell. The DNA replication, so you're going to have those chromosomes are going to, the DNA or chromatin is going to condense into those X shapes, and it's going to replicate. And then in this case, it's going to call this one interphase. So interphase technically is going to, and you can kind of see it, how the line right here goes. So this is all interphase. Okay? Just because they don't have an arrow specifically pointing to all three of those, that is all interphase. I'm picking a different color. I didn't realize I'm going to do different colors until right now. Which means that you have 1, 2. You kind of see that these are all one section, meaning you have 1, 2, 3, 4 little slices of the pie here, and they all belong to the larger main pie slice, I guess, which would be mitosis. So if we start off at interphases here, this is going to be PMAT. So we're going to have, I'm just trying to cover this up. I'm not here. Maybe let's put it like this. There we go. You are going to have prophase. So there's our P. We have metaphase. So let's go ahead and fill that in. There's my PMAT. Ooh, upside down. Look at that. Crazy. Metaphase. But it is kind of a nicer way to look at the diagram. Is not always starting with interphase at the top and then it kind of working its way this way. You're kind of seeing it going in a kind of a different circle, I guess you could say. So metaphase. I'm going to cover those up. Anaphase. Let's see how well I can do this. Anaphase. Anaphase. And then telophase. All right, so anaphase and telophase are these two little circle thingies. And then the last part, we're looking at this one, this last kind of chunk of the pie. Briefly kind of shake that a little bit.
John Carlos Rivera, please report to carpool. John Carlos Rivera.
Oh gosh, John Carlos, get your butt out there. All right, so the last part. So we've done interphase, we've done PMAT, or also mitosis, and this is going to be cytokinesis. And then once you have those two new cells that are formed, it's going to take you right back to interphase.